Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cece and today's video is an update on my Outlander read-along. I have finished An Echo in the Bone, maybe my favorite book of the series so far. So yeah, I just want to update you. Hey everyone, so like I was saying, today's video is an update on my Outlander read-along. It is Sunday, November 7th. We are far from October. It is November 7th. Today is the last day in the read-along to finish An Echo in the Bone. I finished yesterday, so I had one night's grace, I guess. Reading went really well this time. Like I said, I think in my last video, this book is like 850 pages or so, this version that I'm reading anyway. So maybe 100 or 200 pages less than the other books in the series. That did make a difference for me. I mean, if it had been 200 pages longer, I would still be reading today and probably finish tonight instead of last night. So I don't know, that definitely helped. Reading went really quick this time. Honestly, I felt like I couldn't put this book down, so I wanted to read. Definitely listened quite a bit as well on my way, to and from school and at appointments and stuff, but that was good. Definitely have noticed I'm not keeping up with all the podcasts that I like to listen to, but that's okay. I can listen to those anytime. So yeah, I've been reading a lot and listening a lot, but the reading has gone really well and I've just wanted to keep reading. So that's been great. I wanted to say too, I am really excited for the next book in the series. I'll probably start this afternoon or tonight. It is called Written in My Heart's Own Blood. I'm so excited. I can't believe, okay, I checked the publication dates. This is published 2009. Written in My Heart's Own Blood was published 2014. So people had to wait like 4 or 5 years. I don't know when in the year they were published. People had to wait 4 or 5 years between this book and the next one. I don't know how people did it. I don't know how they did it because honestly, this ends right in the middle of a bunch of action. So it would have been like, it's like a big cliffhanger, but you have 5 years to wait. So I don't know how people did it. Credit to you if you were reading them, back in the mid 2000s, that kind of time, because I definitely was not. And I'm actually super grateful because then I didn't have to wait. I can just go read Written in My Heart's Own Blood tonight because I have it. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So although this book, the second half of this book, does end kind of in the middle of all this action, there are a couple storylines that sort of wrap up or things that sort of change. So I want to talk about that first. Obviously, the heartbreak of the book, I think, is, Ian Sr.'s death. So young Ian is still alive, my one true love. His father, though, in Scotland does pass away. And it is really sad. I've always liked the character of Ian a lot. I think he's just so, kind and comforting and, feet on the ground, very stable character. So yeah, it's definitely really sad. I totally cried. I was making dinner when I was listening to it, and Justin was watching something else on TV, and he turned off the show to come join me in the kitchen and help. And he comes over and he's like, "What's wrong?" Because I'm crying, right? And I go, "It's just a sad part of my book. I'm sorry, nothing's wrong." And like, I don't know, he's used to it by now. The first couple of times I cried when I was reading, he was like really concerned. And now he's just over it. He knows I just do that. But it was really sad. I'm reading about Jenny and how, she's trying, she wants Claire to be able to heal him so badly. And she's so angry when she can't. And I think that's just totally how grief goes, right? Like I don't know, it felt so real. It felt so real to me, Ian's death. So yeah, I really not enjoyed that. Saying enjoyed is the wrong word. A good book changes you, right? Like it did make me feel for the characters a lot. So that part was really well done. And it kind of wraps up our time in Scotland in the 18th century, I think. I can't remember Written in My Heart's Own Blood all that well, but I feel like, you know, the decision is made that even before Ian passes, Claire and young Ian return to America. So they're back already, right? They have their projects that they need to do. Ian is looking for Rachel. Claire is performing surgery on Marcelli's son, Marceline Fergus's son, Henry Christian. Jamie stays in Scotland to help his sister and his family through the death of Ian, and to, you know, to be there for Ian. Ian passes, and there's a short story that happens in here that I've read the short story all about Michael and Joan. They go off to France. Leary, the issues with Leary are settled. Jamie's ex-wife. I say Leary. I don't know how people say it. I say Leary because that's how they say it on the show, and that's the easiest way. Things are kind of settled with her. Like, I don't think they're ever going to be friends, right? But they all kind of come to a level of understanding that, you know, they all love Marcelli. They all love Marcelli's children. They want the best for her. Everyone wants the best for Joan, Marcelli's other daughter. And everything's just kind of settled nicely. And Jenny's decision to leave Lallybroch, I do understand. I don't know that I would make the same decision in her shoes. I think I'd be maybe a little too scared to take on a new adventure, but I think it's totally the right thing for her to do. And it kind of leaves Lallybroch to just kind of be in the background. You know, the Murray family is in Scotland. It's not Murrays that we're close to, right? Like, it's Jenny's son, his wife, their children, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, but we don't know them. Like, we're not connected to them in the Outlander story. And I'm kind of grateful because we are at Lallybroch in, you know, Brianna and Roger's time in the 1980s. So I think we've kind of put Lallybroch in Scotland to the side, and I think it's all for the positive. So now all of our 18th century people are all in America. They're not all together, they're not all on the same page, but all the stories that we care about are on the same continent and kind of integrated with each other. So I think that part is really, really cool. I just want to talk about Jenny just a little bit more because she is coming to America. She's on this great adventure of her life with her brother. And again, that really brought me back to the parallels to the Denny Rachel Hunter relationship, where they're brother and sister, and they have that dynamic where they can give each other a hard time and, you know, call each other out, but they're really strong bond, you know, kind of unbreakable. Even when Jenny, you know, basically calls Claire a witch and so cruel, you know, Jamie can forgive his sister instantly he can forgive her, right? Doesn't hold it against her at all. So I really like that she's coming, and I really, really like that she's coming because Ian and Rachel have been reunited. They have found each other. They are figuring out how they're going to be together. They figured out that they are going to be together, even though she's a Quaker and he cannot be a Quaker. In no realm of possibility could he do that. But they are going to make it work. And I think having, you know, Ian has his uncle and aunt, Claire and Jamie, and they've kind of taken care of him for a long time and been his support, but they're not his parents, right? Like, they're his close family, but they're not his parents. Rachel doesn't have anyone other than her brother, and he's in love with someone, and, you know, hopefully is planning his life with Dottie, his love. So I think it's so wonderful that Jenny's going to come, and Ian and Rachel are going to have that support of a parental figure, because Rachel, her parents died when she was very, very young, and Ian has been not on his own because he had Claire and Jamie, like I said, but he's, you know, been without a parent in his life on a day-to-day basis for many years. So I just think that's so exciting for the three of them. I'm really pumped to see it because Jenny is such a strong personality. Rachel is a strong personality. Ian is a strong personality. And so I'm excited for these three characters to all kind of come together and see how that works out. going off of the Ian and Rachel stuff, of course, the truth about Archbug is revealed to Rachel. This man who has appeared several times now and is kind of stalking her. Honestly, it gave me the real creeps. It doesn't last very long in the book. Like, you see him once when Claire is performing surgery. He's around. William recognizes him. William saw him previously. And then he attacks Rachel. And thankfully, Ian and William both show up, and, you know, Archbug dies. It did give me totally the creeps. I don't know why it scared me so much. I think when I was reading this time, I didn't connect this last time I was reading. I know that I didn't, but I did this time. Rachel, so he comes in the shop. Rachel initially thinks he's a customer, and then she kind of sees who it is, and she goes, no, like, leave me alone, like, stay away from me. And he goes to grab her or something, and his coat, like, opens, and she sees the axe, right? Like, you know, like, hanging inside of his coat. And she has, like, a flashback to that horrible family that they encountered, she, Denny, and William, when they were traveling, where, you know, this axe-wielding man and woman tried to kill them. She has kind of a flashback to that, and she totally panicked. So I think that really scared me too. But yeah, thankfully, Arch is killed. It sounds weird to say thankfully a character is killed, but I totally agree with Claire. I think that he's gone a little crazy since the death of his wife. Who can blame him? But he certainly, you know, shouldn't be threatening other people. And he's a dangerous person. So I'm glad that it was resolved. I guess that's the better way to say it. I'm just glad that it was resolved for everyone's sake. So let's talk about the present tense. It's not the present tense. Let's talk about the 1980s for a little while. Brianna and Roger are living at Lallybroch. Brianna's working. Roger's kind of working too. They're getting to know people in their community. And then their son is abducted. Now, this whole storyline freaks me out. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. When I was a kid, if I was having a sleepover, my mom called those parents and talked to the parents. There's no way. I don't know. Say what you want. I don't think that Bree and Roger are doing the best job. This could have been prevented with a simple call to the mother of the other boy. Right? Like, that's weird. I'm sorry, that's weird. This uncle is taking his nephew and his nephew's friend every weekend to the movies and fishing for hours at a time. Like 12, 15 hours. I don't know. It just, I didn't like it. That would bother me a lot. I would want to talk to his mom. I'd want to be able to, like, come to the movies myself too. Like, why can't we both take the boys? Why can't we both take them? The whole situation was weird. Obviously it's a book, it's not real. I do understand that, but I just didn't like it. They're so casual, right? And then, like, the letters, like these super important, super secret letters, they just leave them on display, like, in their study. And I get that it's in their home, but, like, if you come to my home and you're sitting looking at my desk, there's nothing private on the top or the surface of the desk. Like, if you want to find something, like, all the stuff that people shouldn't see is in the drawers, right? Or, like, in a compartment. Like, it's not on display with a wooden snake guarding it. Like, it's not the same. Like, it's not actually protection. Like, lock it up then. I don't know. Or just don't let people in your office with your super secret things. I don't know. That whole thing. It also kind of bothered me too, because, like, we've already seen this with Rob Cameron, that character. Like, he is the one who kind of instigated the prank on Brianna, locking her in the tunnel in the dark. You know, they made sure to take her flashlight. Like, I don't know. Is it a prank? Like, what? It obviously wasn't a harmless prank, because he then kidnaps her son. So it's obviously a sign that he's, like, a psychopath. But she should have just taken it seriously at the start. Roger should have taken it more seriously at the start. Roger kind of menaces him at that meeting, but he doesn't scare him, obviously, because Rob Cameron keeps going. So I don't know. This storyline freaks me out. I don't like the idea of kids being kidnapped. Obviously, that bothers me a lot. I don't know. I think Roger and Brianna could do a little better. They have the skills. That's the thing. They have the skills, right? They know. They're just not doing it, I don't think. So I am excited to see where their storyline goes. Obviously, I've read Written in My Heart, Soul and Blood before, so I do know what happens. I'm excited to see it. I wish I were a little more excited. I always find myself saying that with Roger and Bree, though. Like, I just don't understand them most of the time. But that's okay. Maybe I will continue to learn to work on it and love them more. I do like the Jem and Mandy stuff. I like that Mandy's not a little baby anymore. She's talking, she's walking, she's doing actions. So I'm excited to see her kind of grow up, her and Jem. I like these brother-sister relationships in Outlander a lot, I'm realizing. So I'm excited to see more of them and kind of their special connection in their mind. I think that's really cool. So yeah, I'm excited for that part. Roger and Bree, not so much, but they're kids. Yeah, let's see more of them. Okay, I'm getting to the big one. Let's talk about Jamie's death, / not really his death, but sort of his death. I don't know. I don't know what the opinion of other people is. I have to do a little bit of research on the internet maybe and see. It was interesting, right? I don't think we've seen this before where one of the characters thinks another one is dead, but they're not really. It makes sense that John Gray and Claire think he's dead. Like, he wrote that he was on that ship. The ship, went down, no survivors. It makes sense. I kind of thought Claire shouldn't have believed it. I did kind of think that. Like, she's so quick to believe that he's really dead. And, I mean, all the evidence is there. Like, it makes sense. It's not like I'm saying she's stupid or anything like that. I just wish she would have just, like, held the faith for a little bit longer. But I understand why she didn't. Obviously, John Gray was convinced he was dead. Seeing his kind of grief, I think obviously made Claire really, really believe it too. Maybe if they hadn't been together at this time, things wouldn't have played out how they did. Maybe Claire would have been more like willing to not believe it. Because ultimately it turns out it's not true. I thought it was interesting how, she clearly considers killing herself, decides not to because she is aware her daughter is alive in the 1980s, and she thinks, I might be able to go. Like, maybe I could, steal a diamond and I could go. But she's not sure. She doesn't seem committed to that course of action. She just knows it's a possibility. So that was very interesting to me. She becomes very reckless, like very extremely reckless with her life. Like the mixing of the herbs and the vitriol and stuff, and she drinks way too much, and she's doing all this spying and exchanging these letters. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting response. I do understand it. It's so weird to me that Claire and John Gray get married. I just read it, but I'm still like, why would they do that? Or, okay, they get married because she's going to be arrested for being a spy, and if she's married to John Gray, she won't be arrested. Like, okay, that makes sense. Why do they have sex a bunch of times? Like, I don't get that. I don't know. Like, I get it. It's like in the story, like I get it. Why they talk about why they do it. Like, okay, yeah, like I get it. I just think it's weird. I don't know. I didn't like it. It's fine. It definitely makes the story more interesting. I just thought, like, I don't think this tracks for these two characters really, but I guess it does in a way. I've never understood how much John Grey loves Jamie. I've never really understood that. Like, I guess because I've never had that experience. So he loves Jamie so much that he wants to, you know, have sex with Claire because that's close to having sex with Jamie. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I kind of wonder if the whole thing was a plot device to cause, you know, conflict between John Grey and Jamie when he does return, to show William the truth, because, you know, this is kind of how he learns that Jamie is truly his natural father, or his birth father. I thought it might be kind of just a plot device for that. It definitely adds a layer of chaos and interest to the story. I hope it wasn't just a plot device, which is fine if it is. If it is, like, the plot needs to be developed, like there needs to be things that happen, right? Just to make other things happen. I totally get that. Maybe when I read Written in My Heart and Blood again, I'll have a better appreciation for why this happened. It just seems so random. I don't know. I had to just keep reading. I just have to read the next book and move on with it, because it's like a big question mark in my brain, really. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on An Echo in the Bone. I have to say this was probably my second favorite book, right next to the first one. I loved it. I really enjoyed reading it. It kept me on my toes. It kept me awake at night, just keep reading, listening whenever I had the chance, like even 10 minutes, prepping dinner, or taking the garbage out. Oh yeah, listening to Outlander. So definitely a little mini addiction. Super fun to read. I'm really excited for Written in My Heart and Blood. I'm gonna start in a couple hours. And I can't believe it. Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone comes out in like 2 weeks. Okay, like less than 2 weeks. I can't believe it. I really have to keep reading so that when it comes, I can just dive into it and I don't have like 50 pages left of Written in My Heart and Blood. That would be super disappointing. So I'm definitely gonna start soon. I'm really hoping to edit this video tonight or tomorrow and get it posted Monday after work. That would just be the best. That I would feel like I'm keeping current with all my Outlander stuff. Thank you all so much for your support. If you're a friend of mine who's watching this, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind liking this video and subscribing to my channel, that would help me out a lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.